also have Judah here who's going to give us an example of a firm here.
Yeah, so let's quickly look at Google. January to September, based on Google's own reports, they say they've earned a revenue of $64.2 billion, Suleiman. Now, let me quickly tell you what that means. That is 19.5 trillion naira. The federal government, within the same period, has earned just approximately 4 trillion naira. Here's what it means. For every 1 naira the federal government earns as revenue, Google earns 4 naira. But that's just one way to look at it. Let's look at the second way to look at it. This year, the government has earned 2.2 trillion naira from this crude oil that we still want to put our eggs into that basket. 2.2 trillion naira. Compared to what Google has earned, it simply means that what the federal government earns from oil in 9 months, Google earns in 3 weeks. But that shouldn't really bother you. Here's what should bother you. Google has a staff strength of less than 100,000 employees. Our nation has over 100 million adults. But beyond that, Suleiman, I bought you this envelope. It's Christmas, so it's a season of celebration. So please check what's so that we, for full disclosure, so you need to bring out what's in that envelope.
Where's my own envelope?
Take that off camera.
Okay.
Okay. I thought it was empty. I got 20 naira, I got 10 naira, and 2 notes, 30 naira.
So here's what it means. This year, the government has budgeted 2.2 trillion naira for capital expenditure for 193 million Nigerians. That is what you get as your capital expenditure every day.
30 naira.
30 naira for every Nigerian every day. That is to take care of all your capital needs.
Per
person, per day. 30 naira.
This is not an assumption.
It's not an assumption. So 2.24 trillion naira as capital expenditure for 193 million Nigerians. And that's the figure from the National Population Commission and the Nigeria National Bureau of Statistics. But that shouldn't even bother you as well. Because even though this capital budget is 30%, what was the president's expenditure when he came in the first time? 1984 and 1985. Now, the government had expended then 9.9 billion naira and 13 billion naira respectively within those 2 years. That's the evidence we have. Now, that is 41 and 42% respectively of capital expenditure. So even going by the president's own standard, Buhari versus Buhari, 1984 and 1985, when capital expenditure was 41 and 42% of total spending from the government. This time around, we're still struggling to edge up above 30%. Neil had also talked about the assumption behind the assumptions. So the ministry that has the greatest capital budget this time around, the Ministry of Works, Power and Housing, 529 billion naira, compared to what it was last year, 422 billion naira. That's an increase of 25%. So here's the assumption. The assumption is, do we really have a Ministry of Works, Power and Housing? Now let's look at what had happened last year. The main ministry's budget for roads was 260 billion naira. FEMA had also budgeted as capital expenditure for roads an extra 20 billion naira. So the Ministry of Works, Power and Housing has a 70% budget for capital expenditure that is really just for roads. So really what we have is not the Ministry of Works, Power and Housing. What we have in real terms is we have a Ministry of Roads.
Anyway, I think a fine place to end it. I was going to ask if anyone knows how much an egg costs in the market, if I can buy an egg with these 30 naira. It's a wrap on the show. Many thanks, Jide, for coming on the program. Some thinking for us to do, but I can give you a 500 note.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And a 30 naira.
I don't want an egg.
Okay, I'll keep it. It's a wrap. My name is Sulaiman. Merry Christmas.
And I'm Neil Taigbe. Merry Christmas.
I don't know this selfish thing you people are doing in Lagos, but it's okay. Thank you for watching. Maukbe Ogun. Merry Christmas to everyone.